We're gonna stride into the maximum seal. Lock the front row. So this is what ChaosBreaker gives you, right? The ChaosBreaker gives you an option to activate the Iron earlier on and hit those numbers that you want. Hey yo, how's it going everyone? Entropy here today with another video. Today we're going to be doing a deck profile, not from the new set unfortunately, but still a very formidable deck. This deck was, I feel like it slept on. I don't think it might be the best Link Joker deck out there, but it did see competitive play recently with some techs we do not have yet, but still without them, I think the deck is pretty solid and can do wonders against unsuspecting opponents. So without further ado, let's talk about Link Joker's primary forces, the Star Vaders, and the ChaosBreakerDragon support. So let's go straight to the deck and then go to a game or two to see how this goes. But let's start off just going through the list, seeing what I play, why I play it, and some other thoughts. So starting off with the starter, we are playing the all-new starter. We are playing the Carbon. Now Carbon is neat. So the pro of Carbon is that if your opponent has a locked card, you put this into your soul and call a grade 1 Star Vader from your deck, right? So you have new targets, grade 1 targets, which are really great. Classics like Palladium to Omega Lock is still really good. So Carbon is really nice to just go into your soul, fetch out a piece, and then shuffle the deck up. One negative with this card is that it doesn't have the anti-resist, the anti-retire, sorry. So it is a little bit, you know, it could be retired, but honestly, whether you proc it or not, you still have other ways to fetch out your grade 1s, so it's still fine. But if you have this earlier into the game, then it's just so easy to fuel the soul, which is a cost, and call out a very good grade 1. So it's just a great starter. You can choose to try out the grade 3 searchers as well, but other than that, I don't think there are any compatible starters for Link Joker. If you still play Unicorn, I will be very personally offended, and you can close this video right now and unsubscribe. Grade 1s, we have 4 PGs, Cosmo Wreath. Just countercharge, there's nothing better. There's no reason to play the deleter ones. There's no reason to play the Star Vader. It's maybe the Star Vader one for the name, but generally speaking, you do want the countercharge. Cosmo Wreath gives you that for that late game push. We play 4 of the new grade 1, Zinc. Zinc says if your Vanguard's a Chaos and your opponent has a locked card, put this in your soul to Soul Charge 2, Countercharge 2. Now, Counterblast is a cost, and this deck uses it quite a bit, and Soul is a cost for ChaosBreakerDragon himself. So this is a really important card. I do play this at 4, but generally speaking, I don't proc this more than twice. Reason being is because if you do, and you aren't mindful of the deck, you will deck out really easily, so you really need to be careful. You're playing 9 draws, you're soul charging 2 every single time you use the skill, you're drawing cards with ChaosBreaker, you're doing a lot of deck thinning with Carbon and your grade 2 lineup as well, so you have to definitely be careful not to deck out. And we play 2 of the Palladium, very classic. Just at the start of your turn, Camelot's 1, put this in your soul to lock a rearguard that unlocked during the end phase. It's just really good. And we play 3 of the Destiny Dealer. Striding is important for this deck, and you need to get to GB2 as soon as possible. So most of your time you will be on Stride, and so Destiny Dealer is there to help you. It's not here to fix your ride because we don't play any Messiahs, but it's here to help you make sure you can stride without dumping your entire hand. For the grade 2s, we're playing 2 of the 12K. Most of the time, you're going to be locking 1 or 2 of their opponent's front row, which means that you do need numbers to hit your opponent's 11K Vanguard. 12K is important to help you do that without committing boosters, or if you have a lack of boosters. And so I believe the 12K is very valuable. Speaking of numbers, new card Iron is there to help you out as well. During your turn, your Vanguard is, if your Vanguard's a Chaos, it gets +2. So it's an 11K beater by itself, which is already really good. But also, when placed, if your opponent is if your Vanguard's a Chaos and your opponent has a locked card, Camelot's 1 to lock anything on your opponent's board. So this is really helpful because you have cards that only, you know, cheaply lock back row, and Iron takes advantage of that and locks the front row. You also have cards like Photon, which says on place, if your Vanguard's a Star Vader, Camelot's 2 to lock one of your opponent's rearguards. So you can use Photon first to lock a front row intercept or rearguard, and then you use Carbon to lock the other front row as well with Counterblast 1. So it's a Counterblast 3 play, but you can just front row lock on turn 2, as early as turn 2, and you have a lot of control over the game from that point. And then we play 3 of the Colony Maker. I do know that the Carbon is a bit squishy, but the Colony Maker is there to help you just build up the board, get the grade 1s you want, 16k column. So then if you front row lock, you double front row lock, you can then have a 11k beater, 16k column, and then a Vanguard that's 26 without boost. So you're able to easily generate these numbers, easily deck thin, plus, and get the pieces that you need to win the game. So that's just really nice. Just lots of options to front row lock, which is really good. And for the grade 3s, we play 3 of the ChaosBreakerDragon. This is your main ride target, and I'll explain why this is the main ride target, but we only play 3. Right, so first of all, it still has the Counterblast 1, discard 2 Star Invaders to lock one of your opponent's rearguard skill. This is still there, but recently it got buffed to Soul Blast 1 at the start of your turn. Soul Blast 1 to retire a rearguard unlocked during your opponent's end phase, and if you retire, draw a card. It used to be Counterblast 1, now it's Soul Blast 1, which means that cards like this makes a lot more sense, which means that you can safely play Photon out without worrying too much about the Counterblast, and it's just really, really good. Soul Blast 1 to just remove 1 and draw 1 is everything you really want. So yeah, and the reason why we play this at 3 is because we play this at 4, the Chaos Springer. I don't see a lot of lists of people rating Chaos Springer really highly. Some people play Infinite Zero, some people play more Legions or whatever. I think Chaos Springer is a very, very important piece. The reason being is because it has an on-place Counterblast 1 lock a back row. Right? So if you understand this deck's game plan, it will stride every single turn for most turns if you can. What that means is whatever is in Vanguard circle doesn't really matter, especially early on into the game, right? Sure, if you, at the end of the turn, when you go back to Chaos Breaker and then your opponent has something, whatever, then you can use the Soul Blast 1 skill, but it's LB4, right? Chaos Springer can actually do something on place, lock 1. Then you can chain it off, chain some skills like Iron to lock 1 more front row, or to lock a front row. You can chain it with Colony Maker to build up a board. There's just or you can just use Carbon to swap itself into any grade 1 that you want, Palladium or the Zinc. So just being able to give you those options earlier on into the game, as soon as turn 3, is really, really valuable. It punishes your opponent for not expecting this card because people think it's bad, and gives you a front row lock. You know, it's just good. And in addition, it's not the ideal ride target, but LB4 at the end of the turn, if your opponent has a locked card, you can Counterblast 1 to ride a Chaos Breaker from your deck. So you can still fix your ride, go back into Chaos Breaker when LB4 is active in order to take advantage of the Soul Blast 1 skill. So it just makes sense to me. I hope it makes sense to you. If it doesn't, give it a try and let me know if it works for you, but it definitely is working well for me. And lastly, we play 2 of the Blaster Joker. It Legions with Photon, which is a 4 of anyways, and it also does something very neat, which says Soul Blast 2, Counterblast 2, lock a Starvader rearguard, discard a Starvader to lock all of your opponent's rearguards and retire your opponent's Legion mate. So this is really good because I'd say less than half of the competitive decks are playing Legion, so the retiring Legion mate is not that relevant. But being able to lock everything on your opponent's board includes resist units. And so one of the key matchups that you need to be wary of is the Asha, the Etheria Jingle build, and they do have really big 21k whatever intercepts with resist, and Blaster Joker lets you bypass that for that turn, just give you a really good swing, and maybe a chance to go for a game when you didn't have that opportunity with Chaos or some other pieces. So I just played Blaster Joker at 2 just for that one matchup. It just goes to show that how influential that matchup is. And Blaster Joker can give you that opportunity to win the game by doing that, to just slow down the turn. Your opponent can't really jingle anymore, so that the turn they unlock, they will be 9k base and it's easy to hit over. And most Neo-Nectar decks don't play the harmonics, so Blaster Joker is a pretty safe bet. You know, Neo-Nectar is pretty greedy. I don't really see Link Joker that often in the ladder anyways, so I think it's fair to be greedy like that. But for us, it's very advantageous to take advantage of that option or that inclination. And lastly, we play 4 heal guards because heal guard's good. For the first strat, it's generally going to be Judgment Messiah. There's nothing better. It just says on hit, lock 1 back row, unlock some card. Generally never unlock. We play one of the Maximum Seal Dragon. Sometimes when you have some cheap locks, like for example, on place Chaos Ringer, on place the Iron, you have 2 lock units, and sometimes you don't have the grade 1s or whatever to commit. Maximum Seal Dragon can make sure that your columns or your front row can actually hit those numbers. Just by having these 2 locks, it's already plus 10 to the front row. Just make sure that you can hit that next stage if you need it when this unit attacks. We play 1 Harmonics because why not? And we play 4 of the Big Crunch Dragon, which is the main stride option. It just says count +1 persona to lock one of your opponent's front row and then lock all units in that column. So basically locks down 2. So if you are on Chaos or you have a Palladium, obviously you would relock the front row and then you would retire the back row and draw a card, which is really great. So that's basically it. If you did have 2 copies of the new Chaos Grade 4, this one, which I only have 1 unfortunately, the Chaos Universe, I would definitely replace 1 copy of the Harmonics and replace 1 copy of the Judgment. It's a pretty solid card. It's very situational because it is not cheap. And but the locking from hand does shut down your opponent's plays, especially later into the game when it's all about managing the resources in terms of the hand and the options. So I think it's a pretty neat card. I wouldn't play it at 4, but at 2 definitely would play it if I had the second copy. So with that all said and done, let's go straight into a game or 2 on the ladder and see how the deck performs. So while we're doing this, if you enjoy the video at all, consider liking the video, subscribing if you haven't already, and thank you so much to those who have done that, and thank you to Kamui, 2Mellow, Casey, ZBD for being YouTube members, and thank you Gladiator and 2Mellow again for being Twitch subs. Appreciate the support, and you help me maintain this this channel, I guess. So let's go into the first game. It is the 6th day of the season. Clearly, I haven't been playing much because I've been mostly focusing on JP. If I'm playing Vanguard 0, it's the Luard season. I do want my Luard, so we're going second here against Shadow Paladin. It is a bit iffy. If they make their combo play first, it's bad for us. If we lock their pieces first, it's good for us. So it just depends on how you play it and how you see it. But let's see what they got. So this is seemingly the David. So I am expecting a Claret, maybe a Diablo build. Dark Heart Trumpeter, it's a solid grade 1. So probably the Diablo. So we do need to make sure that we have the back row in order to play around the PBD. Alright, so first ride, nothing much here, frankly. Calling this out here. I do feel like being a little greedy here. And I think it's fine. The grade 1 can still tuck itself into the soul to do some stuff if they don't retire it. And it's not like we have any grade 2s to commit. But of course, our opponent sees a heal, and that nets us 1 damage only. But at least that's one heal trigger gone from the deck. So it's not like we have any grade 2s to commit next turn, anyways. And if our opponent plays an intercept, then we need to commit something onto that column. So let's see how it goes. Alright, no defensive, so our opponent's going to hit 14 to face. And that's a 10k vanilla, so it's an odd list. But let's see. Grade 2, of course. Nothing much we can do here. And we're just going to go back to battle. I'm considering swapping the positions just because of the hand that we have. Searching the Palladium isn't bad though, but they can retire it. Yeah, they can retire it, so might as well just do this. Let's just hit. No triggers, so we can't push for 2 damage, but 12 can still hit 7, and that is the turn. So right now we did draw into PG, we did draw into a heal guard, so that's nice. No Chaos Bringer, but we do have the Chaos Breaker, which is fine. So like you have 7 grade 3s that you're fine with. I think that's plenty comfortable without a grade 3 searcher. And the 9k, that counts as a grade 1, and the 10k. So 10k hits, the 5. Still no defensive, which really sucks. Seeing a heal would be incredible. Definitely would help here. Can we please see it? No trigger at all. That's unfortunate. Ganga Furtis, thank you for the sub while we're recording this video. Alright, we're going to go straight into the Chaos Breaker. So still a badass, and there's still more to come for Chaos, so hold your horses if you think this is it. Judgment. Just gonna stride, get the triple drive, hopefully dig into some triggers, because that would definitely really help in this situation. So this is terrible because there's nothing much we can do with this hand. It's just a lot of defensives. And yeah, I don't really know. I guess 14. It's not like we mulligan into this anyways, right? So sometimes you just have to play the hand you're dealt. It just sucks, but seeing some draw triggers is really great. And the heal trigger, triple trigger turn, definitely lifts my spirits and gives us some chance, right? Our opponent 3 cards in hand, drawing into the 4th. But we did see double draw triggers, so we did draw some pieces. Striding next turn is a bit questionable. Like, I don't know if we can pay that. But we will see. Definitely not in danger as much as just now when we're at 4. No intercepts. It was rough. It looked grim, but I guess we have the Scythe, right? So maybe we're the Grim Reaper. So just going to swing with the Aura Geyser and retiring the David because it counts as 2 rearguards, gives them 2 draw. That's a heal and a grade 3, so recognize that they do have the Diablo to use as stride next turn. And a heal that whiffs and puts us to 4 again, which is fine. Let's see what we got. Grade 3? No, but Destiny Dealer helps us stride. Unfortunately, our opponent doesn't have anything on their board to lock anyways. So let's just go into the Harmonics. It's not like they would lock us. I don't think Shadow Paladin has unlocked that yet. But let's just go into the stride just for the triple drive. Hopefully see some more triggers. I'm just going to commit this board just because we do need some stuff. And we're just going to swing. 14, 18, 27. We only have 1 heal, so it's not like we can double heal. So putting them to 4 and we're at 4 still gives us the chance to heal here. If we had 2 heals left in the deck, maybe I would consider attacking with the Vanguard first, just so that we have a potential to double heal and just win the game off that big swing. But not right now. We did see a draw, they did see a draw, and they are at 5. So I'm really afraid of the PBD play. But we do have a grade 3 to protect ourselves against the Guard Restrict. So I think that works out, and then the turn after we could consider, I mean, if we have a stride, obviously we'd go into Big Crunch. But we could even consider going into the Chaos skill to just discard 2 and unlock 1 if we do have 2 Starvaders. So opponent discards a grade 0 because Diablo skill says that they count as grade 3s. Or all units get grade +3. So it's just easy to stride into them. PBD skill does require them to retire 3. But the friend here, the Charon, does count as 2 rearguards. So they're just going to get rid of the 2 intercepts, that the 2 rearguards in the front row. And what that means is that we will have to tank the Guard Restrict ability. And they're very carefully retiring all their pieces, not leaving anything for us to lock, which really, really sucks. But that is how you play the game. And they're playing really well. So that's great. Great for them, not great for us. Because we literally haven't shown off lock as a mechanic yet. Again, we got the Stride Fodder, which is really, really good. I mean, what's the point on staying on Chaos Breaker on that turn, right? So here we go. I will keep that grade 3, frankly. I think it's valuable, whether as a Guard Restrict option or whatever. I'm just going to sing 12, 26, and then hopefully see a draw trigger or a heal trigger here. Probably the draw trigger would be preferred. Can we please see 1 trigger? No trigger, unfortunately. That's a PG. And that's pass. Don't really want to commit the heal guards or whatever. I think it's too early. It's too dangerous, especially since we expect them to have defensives in their hand. They're going into the Vortimer Diablo, which gives them very nice plussing off the on place and the stride skills and whatnot. Just fill up the board. The Dark Sage Painter, Saga Painter. Discarding 1 to stride. What will it be? Going into the Spectral Blaster Diablo. Okay, and SP. That's very nice. Gets Call 2 because it is the specific stride associated with Vortimer. So this is very reminiscent of the Gold Paladin Spectral Duke era. But don't think they have any grade 1s left. 1, 2, 3. I guess not. Interesting. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Math hard. Oh, I guess they did have something. I don't know. Why didn't they Superior call another unit? I need to check on this. You may also call another unit, and those units get +3. I don't know. Interesting. Clearly they had stuff to call, so maybe I missed it. But their Vanguard has a restanding ability, which is really scary. So hopefully we find a way to survive that. We did see a draw trigger. That's very good. Drawing into grade 3. So the question is, can our PG and double heal guard attack this turn? Draw trigger here. This could be make or break. That's the Karma Collector, so that's the PG. So at most 1 heal guard and 1 PG in hand. Karma has 2, retire 2. That card counts as 2. That's digging very deep into the deck, but that 1 PG is good enough to give us that edge. That extra crit is scary. And we are going to stride into Big Crunch, giving us a lock. Finally locking our opponent down. Of course, PG here is very helpful as well. But no intercepts really suck. Never got to showcase the Photons. Never got to showcase the Iron, the Colony Maker. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Our opponent has to count us 1 for this. They only have two defensive left. I think we have to go for it. 14. I love the pew pew animation. 11. Hopefully they don't have a heal guard. They do. The question is, oh, they don't have any grade 3s left. So striding could be a difficulty. Heal trigger here, very nice. And the question is, do they have the PG? They do. So that 1 PG there gives them the counter charge, unfortunately. But what is the last unit? Is it gonna be Spectral Blaster Diablo? That's the question. I do think that the Vortimer forces you to Superior Call if you have the option. So I wonder if that will be the difference between winning and losing this game. So let's see. I expect most lists to maybe play more like more PBDs or the Aura Guys are damned. Doomed, sorry. Striding, discarding 2 for the stride. Very expensive. Going for the Aura Guys are doomed. Okay there. Drawing 1. But the Aura Geyser forces them to draw though. So probably just going to use this to swing as 26. Hope that we don't have the numbers to guard. But next turn when the front row unlocks, we can actually Chaos Breaker, Soul Blast 1, retire it to draw 1. So we only need to deal with 1 intercept at best. And at this point, given that we have 4 damage only, 1 heal guard and 1 PG, I think it's safe to say that we won this game. Yeah, I think it's over. They have no options. They have no more triggers. That's the PG. And PG is going to be their 6 damage, I guess. So 9 goes to 7. But that is basically the game. So they end their turn. We're going to kill that grade 2. Goodbye. And do we want to stride? I don't think it's necessary. We can just do this. Lock the front row. And lock this. Make it hard for them, you know. And then this should be game. 11 codes for game, asking for the PG, and they do have it, but not the way they want it. So that's game. Unfortunately, we did not get to really showcase the whole control mechanism because our opponent was in control for most of the game, right? But at the end, when it mattered the most, we were able to stride, we were able to just shut them down, slow them down, and then make sure that our opponent had no outs and win the game. So it works out. It works out. Not the most ideal play, not the most ideal situation, but being able to just go into big crunch, just easily carry +1 and just shift the tide of the game, just shut down those pieces and go for game feels really, really good, and is a reason why I can definitely recommend this deck. So speaking of techs, in JP with set 8 on the blessing side, there is a new Cray Elemental, grade 2, 9k, which lets you counterblast in order to remove the resist skills from your opponent's board. Now this is really helpful because, again, Jingle Theoria, very annoying, you know, other clans as well, you know, Gears have resist, basically the DP has resist and all. This is a VP farmer, so we're gonna skip this, but let me finish my spiel. The idea is that you remove the resist and then you will use your lock skills to lock them down, and or just remove them or whatever. So with that Cray Elemental, I think that the need to play Blaster Joker is lessened. So you can definitely play other options instead, cheaper options. Lesion is still valuable, but maybe even experiment with some other triggers as well. So basically, that's it. We're going to go into another game after this VP Farmer, and I will catch you later. Let's go to another game. I don't even remember how many points I had at the start of this video anymore. I don't even know. Sometimes, like, when you get kicked out of the room, you lose points. Sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. I can't really check the footage right now, but let's just go into game 2 and see how we do. All right, Link Joker versus Gear Chronicle. Going second again is always really good. It means you get to first stride, and then it means you get to access your GB2 before your opponent. So I'm okay removing this because I do have the Iron, which combos really well with the Chaos Bringer. But hopefully we don't get greed stuck because we're greedy like that. Generally, I would stay on the Chaos Breaker, but I just want to demonstrate why I do play the Chaos Bringer at 4 instead of the Chaos Breaker. I do think that it's valuable, it's a great option, and it's worth your consideration. Alright, there we go, the Chaos Bringer. Seven swing 7. Heal trigger here is a bit wasted, but that's okay. That's a crit. Okay, that's scary. That's very scary. Maybe they're testing and they didn't change the triggers. I don't know, but that is not supposed to be a crit. I don't like that. Scary, scary. Draw trigger here, very good. And to Paladin is solid. Alright, we have the Chaos Breaker as well, so we got the whole fam. Vanguard Golem doesn't hit 10k, so we're just going to commit something here, hit 12 here, and we're going to swing Vanguard first to maybe heal. No heal. And hopefully our opponent doesn't see it offensive. They did. Heal went the wrong way, so we're just going to pass. Call it a day. Opponent has 7 cards. We're riding for 6. No, they're going to skip. Wow, I don't know what jank this is, but this is real. Wild. Alright, 15 to our face. Luckily, there's no crit to put us to 4. Going to 3 is still bad, but the draw trigger here compensates more than enough. And we're going to go straight into the ChaosBreaker. ChaosBreaker lets us camera last one, lock the back row. We're going to stride into the maximum seal. Don't know if I'll use the skill yet, but we'll see. Gonna use the colony maker. Call this out. Gonna use the starter first, just to make sure we don't solo charge the grade 1 we want. And this gives us counter charge 2 and solo charge 2. There we go. Maybe the RNG would have been really bad. Call the iron, lock the front rail. So this is what ChaosBreaker gives you, right? The ChaosBreaker gives you an option to activate the iron earlier on and hit those numbers that you want. Maximum seal, you don't really need to use that because we could still attack with Vanguard 3rd and we still could double heal. So no need to use a skill. We could if we wanted to, if our opponent sees like a bunch of defensives, but I think this is fine. Draw a trigger and the extract water. So yeah, we have 2 intercepts. Opponent still on grade 2. It's their problem. And they have a front row locked, which I think is something that we did. So that's nice. We do have the Palladium. They chose not to ride the grade 3 again. We know that because they had a long ride phase. If it automatically skipped it, it means the game knows that there's no grade 3. If they waited, it means that it's not the grade 3 that they wanted and they're being greedy. So I do think that at this point you do want to just ride and stride if you can. It's going to lock the front row again. And we have 7 soul. Very comfy. And here we could stride. I guess we could go into the judgment. I think it's fine. Just locking the back row is fine. It's nothing much, but it's okay. It's okay. Nothing crazy here. We can lock the other front row as well, but I don't know if it's that big of a help. I think it's a fine play though. We could lock it. And then I don't think the counter charge is necessary. We can just swing. Lock the back row as well and have a chance to hit the heal. Draw into the ChaosBreaker. We can manually ride into that as well. Draw into draw ChaosBreaker. Lock that, and we're not gonna unlock because that would be really dumb. 28. That's a crit, and this is why we play 9 draws or the grade 3 searcher. You really want Chrono Jet? Do something about it. This is not the way. So unfortunately, we can't really lock anything this turn, but that's okay. I think we can play Vanilla Vanguard, and it's still okay. Do we want to stride here? Not really. I don't think it's necessary. Just gonna call down some stuff. Don't really want to overdraw and all that. We still have 2 heals that could proc without healing after all. So there's one. So that's a heal guard. 2 for 6. And again, be wary of the deck out issue. We talked about it when we mentioned Zinc here. But again, our opponent's going for the no grade 3 challenge, I guess. So we'll see how it goes. There's no Blaster Joker to play around the Ishin or the deck out, which is a shame. But we still do have the one Zimidar here, the 10k, that we can lock away. Okay, gonna give us 1 damage. That's a PG. So I'm just gonna stride into the Big Crunch. Keeping the Starvaders as just beaters, or even maybe Chaos skill, I don't know. Just lock that. We don't have any triggers left, so I guess this is fine. Just wanted to save the grade 3 just in case we want to go and Brick Crunch again next turn. But I guess that's it. This game doesn't count. Let's do another game. Yeah, this game doesn't count. It's more of us trying not to lose rather than us trying to win. So, yeah. Alright, we ranked up. That's great. Get extra points because our opponent's higher ranked than us. Which is surprising. But, you know, alright, let's go back into another game with Chaos without Universe, which is just sad, but it's what we got. So, some other options, I guess, is the grade 2 resist unit. The Astral Reaper, I believe is the name. That card is neat. It's an on-hit rearguard skill. So, +1, check top 5 for a unit with the same name as your Vanguard and add it to your hand. The reason why I don't play it is because the deck thins out fast enough already. And lock already is a very defensive mechanic by itself, so I don't think having resist is that necessary, and it's fine. It's fine to rather play more colony makers to fetch out the pieces that you specifically want, or play the 12k beaters to just hit without having a booster. I think that works better for me. So Gold Paladin, another deck that has a lot of resist units, especially with the new set. They do have a new resist grade 2, so having the Blaster Joker in our pocket could be helpful, but we did mulligan them away, generally because they do need to filter really hard for those 2 resist units, and it's not like it's ideal to be on Blaster Joker because it's really unsustainable to spam this skill. So one plays the Gurgwit rank reward, but stand could work. Just gonna ride 9k, and I'm just gonna leave it like that. Calling the 12k is fine as well. I think that's okay. 9 and 12. If we see a trigger, it's guaranteed. If we don't, then hope our opponent doesn't see a trigger. But our opponent did see a stand already, so the likelihood would be lower. But unfortunately, our opponent did see another Gurgwit. But hopefully, crossing my fingers that our opponent did, because they triggered 2 Gurgwit already, they don't have a 3rd copy or a 4th copy in the hand. And that means that our opponent misses, rides the doggo, and loses the game. I think that's ideal. A heal trigger here is very, very helpful as well. Definitely gives us a little bit of margin. And we're gonna go. What do we want to go into? The ChaosBreaker locks the back row, but I don't think it's that necessary. I think it's okay, but I don't think it's that good. The iron here is awkward. But the problem is, if we don't lock and use this skill, then we don't have 2 columns to actually hit without seeing a trigger. So I guess all in all, I am in favor of going ChaosBreaker. Lock the back row. Use the starter. Call 1 out just to hit. And we have 11 and 18 and asking for a heal. That's a heal. That's good. So 11 here, 23. Again, locking the back row isn't necessarily that great, but we wanted to free up that 12k column. That's just a little awkward. And set up other plays as well. Deck thin, whatever you want to say. So the question is, what grade 3 does our opponent have? If they have Gurgwit, it's such an easy ride. The question is, do they have it? Because we see 1 in the damage, 1 in the drop. Who knows where the other 2 are, but hopefully not in their hand. And if that's the case, then it is a very smooth ride to victory for us. A reference intended. But, surprise, surprise, they do have the 3rd copy. So I don't know why they were thinking about it that much. But, yeah. Discarding 2 for the stride. Going into the Rising Shine Dragon, which does set up their GB2 after that first stride turn. Which is very, very nice defensively. So, because we're used to just locking 2 front row and having 11, 16, 26. But if they use their skill and see a trigger, their Vanguard number is already 26k, 21k. So it's really hard for us to hit. We definitely need to figure out a way to play around that. A Jeffrey is very cool. If you boost this at the end of the battle, if it detected or boosted, you put this into soul to draw a card. Means that it's supporting your soul, setting up a empty board for your superior calls during the battle phase, and also dodging Link Joker's locks. So very helpful for them. It uses the stand trigger, but that 11k is not going to hit anything. The grade 1 is going to hit something though. So I feel like the power, they could have easily put the 5k onto the resetting rearguard, but I guess not. Just 26 here, that's fine. And then the Jeffrey skill goes into soul to draw 1 card. Oh, it gets 5k. Well, I don't get why they didn't swing 16 first then. I don't get it. But okay, it's our turn. Nope, no need to lock that again. Ooh, I like this. Just gonna stride the big crunch. Oh, that's the first stride. No, that's a misplay. That's a misplay. No, that's not it. That's not it. That's bad. I should have went into the judgment. I thought I strided last turn, but they got first stride. Oh man, that's a misplay. That's terrible. Draw trigger. So just don't do that because the big crunch is very important. You don't want to waste it like that. But our opponent's playing 9 stands, it seems. So hopefully that gives us an edge. Like if we lock them once, they can't stand, and it's good enough. Hopefully that's the case. But we definitely do want to be careful and save that Blaster Joker because it will come in handy. We haven't seen the Resist Grade 2 out yet, but they could still have it. The Ray Breath Unite +5. All your front row gets +2, so you can definitely scale really well. Calling the booster out. The pool here is really awkward, but the Jeffrey here can definitely attack by itself. It doesn't say attacking Vanguard, so attacking 9k into rearguard works as well. Grade 1 here gives extra power. And so 9 into 9, 13 into 11, counter charge, and then 31 to face. Hopefully see a stand or something. Definitely works. So the thing I don't really like about stand triggers is that it means that your opportunity to double heal, for example, like just now situation, if their Vanguard swinged first, they could double heal, would be a much bigger swing than being able to restand one swing. It's just a little awkward how the triggers work in this game, but I mean, stand triggers were always awkward until they slapped OP skills on them, right? So, alright, here it is. It's our turn. This time we can definitely use Big Crunch. So let's do that. Let's see, do we still have Chaos? Yeah, we do. Let's properly use the Big Crunch skill. Very good card. Alright, Blaster Joker is there. Just gonna lock that front row column. That unlock the counter charger, and the 9k here is fine as well. We can still lock the back row. We're comfortable with counterblast, so I think this is worth it just to shut down those plays. And battle 16, 18, 26. Oh, heal is very good here. Hit 36 maybe and ask for PG instead. No, unfortunately not. That's a heal guard. They play, yeah, 9 stands. 9 stand for heal. Haven't shown any PGs yet. But they flip the harmonics. Oh no, no. That's not how you do it. That's not how you do it. The harmonics is for the Lake Joker matchup, bro. Not like this. Heal. Heal is good. If we had another Big Crunch, we would be going Big Crunch, but we stupid. So that didn't happen. They're going to use a skill. So removing the trigger. Locking everything with Blaster Joker here doesn't feel like value because our opponent's 21k base, right? So I'm just going to use the Palladium to just lock that front row. and we're just gonna go from there. So I think all the CBDs are gone. That's why the ChaosBreaker didn't proc, but that's okay. We're just gonna skip. We're just gonna stride into the maximum seal, I guess, and hopefully hit some numbers to push. Though I think it's unlikely, frankly. 19, yeah, that doesn't hit. It's just awkward. This turn is awkward. Do I want to bank on that one trigger? Maybe the judgment should have been better. But yeah, let's not bank on it. I don't think it's worth it. For kind of last one for lock for 5k isn't that worth it. But I guess we did see the trigger. It's not gonna hit though because we don't see 2 triggers, but that's okay. Pass. Still though, no harmonics means that front row is forever locked. I don't think they play the unlocking stuff, so I think we're nice here. Opponents just completely gone with the grade 3s, so this is gonna be their last cheap stride. Going into the Scourge point, can't even make those pool plays, so that's awkward. 4 cards left in the deck. Deck out is definitely an issue for opponent, and there you go. But it doesn't really work out, bro. Just for the 26k number. Will they see the heal? No, so the heal is probably in their hand, alongside the other PGs. So this time I'm gonna keep this because we can actually use the Blaster Joker skill. Oh no, we don't have 2 Starvaders. I suck at this game. Clearly, I suck at this game. Yep, I suck at this game. This is not good. But I suck, but we're still gonna win this. So I don't know how you'll take this, but it is what it is. Lock this. We could oh, our Vanguard's on a chaos. Yay. I'm just gonna leave this, I guess. They still have 1 heal, that's fine. 9, 11, 26. That's the first PG. We got nothing. That's a huge mistake to do the Blaster Joker. I guess we can Legion next turn. Put those heals back or something. I don't know how I'm going to justify myself. But I guess not playing the Starvader PGs are biting me in the ass. Because I clearly said at the beginning of the video where, you know, I'd rather have the counter charge. But I guess the Starvader name was very valuable. So 11 here. That's a PG. So the last 2 cards in their hand are PGs. Unfortunately, the PG didn't proc, which means we don't have the counter charge, which means we can't use the skill. So that sucks, but let's just Legion, I guess, even though we can't use a skill. Putting heals back is good. Putting Blaster Joker back is also good. Even if we draw into a heal guard, it's still solid, right? So just calling the grade 2. Very grindy game. Surprised to see it go. It went this far. But let's see a heal or 2. That's a heal. Asking for PG. That's it. That's the new Unite PG actually. So playing mixed PGs was a little common in the TCG. I don't know how viable that is in Zero though. Maybe Kagero could make it work. I don't know. Going for the final turn. But thankfully we do have the PGs to defend ourselves. And another heal to top it off. And that's it. So while our opponents in this video weren't that amazing, I guess it does showcase that the deck does what it needs to do. It wins games, and Lock is still very frightening. That's the word I'm looking for. So that's basically it. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you to Kemwe, 2Mellow, KCCBD, and Gladiator, and 2Mellow again. Thank you for being Twitch subs and YouTube members. Appreciate the support. If you like this video, you can consider doing what they've done, or simply liking the video and subscribing if you haven't already. It's definitely very helpful. So let me know down below what you think about Link Joker, what you think about CBD, and I guess that's it for today. So thank you again, and hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.